Hello and welcome to Everyday Tarot, your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille A. Saunders, healer, tarot enthusiast, and professional witch, and today I'll be answering the question, how do I ask my therapist to use tarot? Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for fresh perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me. If you love the show, the best way to support it for free is by listening daily, leaving a review, and subscribing or following in your favorite podcast app. I'm offering a 12-week Tarot for Transformation live course this summer where we're going to be deep diving the first 12 of the major arcana cards all together as we embody archetypes and learn how to transform ourselves through the tarot. So if you're interested in self-growth and deep diving in the tarot and you sign up by September 12th, you'll get 25% off with code EARLYBIRD. Check out the full details with the link in the show notes. If you're interested in crafting your own tarot cards, maybe your creativity is ramping back up again now that summer is coming to an end, you can go ahead and get my full workshop, including the hour-long recording with my step-by-step method, examples of tarot cards I've created, journaling questions, and a PDF to walk you all through it for just $33. The link is in the show notes to purchase that now. And if you're interested in joining my Patreon, where I have lots of benefits over there, maybe you want an individual card pulled for you once a month live on the podcast, or maybe you want to support the podcast even further and get a one-time individual 5-card reading. In addition to all the other benefits, I have 2 different levels. So the Lovers level, you get that 1 card a month, which will show up on the New Moon collective tarot readings that I do. I'll put all of them at the end. And then if you want that one-time individual 5-card reading, you want to be more in community with other folks that listen to the podcast, you can join the Witch Bitch level on the Patreon. And like I said, I do New Moon collective tarot readings. I just did one for August 21st for the New Moon in Virgo. So if you didn't get a chance to watch live, you can catch the replay. The link is in the show notes. And if you're local to me, you can check out my Let's Talk Tarot meetup group. Come chat with other tarot enthusiasts, bring your favorite decks, and play with tarot and oracle decks all with us. If you're interested in celebrating the full moons together with other witchy folks, I'm holding full moon women's circles for the rest of 2025. You can join my colleague Izzy and I under the glow of the full moon for an evening of connection, reflection, and ritual. This gathering is a space for all women. We will be meeting at Thresholds Collective in Tacoma the first Sunday of every month to welcome in the full moon together. So upcoming dates for the rest of the year are September 7th, October 5th, November 2nd, and December 7th. And if you pay for all 4 circles in advance, you can get a 10% discount. We have one that just happened on the 7th and it was super fun. And so if you missed that or you want to check out the next ones, get them on your calendar now. You can go ahead and go to our Eventbrite link and get those scheduled. If you're interested in my free PDF with the 2025 5-card tarot spread I created just for you at the beginning of this year, you can get that by joining my newsletter list. My weekly newsletter always has the most up-to-date information on upcoming events, presentations, musings, and info and photos of my day-to-day life. And if you don't already know, I am a sex and relationships coach and therapist, seeing clients virtually all over from my home office. Apologies, I just had a timer go off. I love working with queer, poly, and witchy clients. If you'd like to work with someone that doesn't judge you, is witchy just like you, and helps you learn how to deal with anxiety, chronic pain or illness, communication issues, self-advocacy, and sex, head to my website and book a free consultation now to start your journey. You can find the links for any of these offers in the show notes or on my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot, in addition to the images of the cards I pull on each episode. All right, welcome to season 14, where I'm answering all of your most frequently asked tarot questions. If you haven't listened to my other seasons yet, you should check those out. So in our main discussion today, I am answering the question, how do I ask my therapist to use tarot? Last episode, I talked about if you're a therapist and you want to use tarot with clients, how to do that. So now we have the flip side here. Maybe you're a client, you're in therapy, and you're like, Camille is talking about tarot and therapy. I want to do that. I want to know more. So I would say right? I mean, it might be different if you already have a therapist, but if you don't and you're looking for one, you can look in their bio. You could, if you have like a consultation with a therapist, which is common, usually it's a free consultation, or maybe even just in your initial reach out to them, you can ask them if that's something they offer. That maybe you could express that you're witchy or spiritual or interested in utilizing tarot imagery in sessions. Like I said, you can tell them you do tarot and that you're interested. You can also search by witchy or spiritual, witch, or tarot therapists in your area. You could just like search that. You can also go on to different directories. A large one is Psychology Today, where you can filter by different types of therapists. You can filter by religion or anything like that. They don't have a like pagan religion option on Psychology Today. I think they have like other or like spiritual. So those are the ones that I probably have checked. Yeah, other options would be you can come work with me if you're in Washington State and you want to do virtual tarot therapy with me. Please reach out. You can go to my website, CamilleASaunders.com, and schedule a consultation. If, again, so maybe you're in therapy, maybe your therapist isn't interested in tarot, you can always just talk about how it is helpful to you and that this is like potentially a coping strategy or something. Maybe I have some folks as clients, like in my therapy practice, that tend to live in their head and maybe be always trying to find the right words or want to be very like word perfect or struggle with that. Sometimes just doing like a visual, either doing art therapy, which might be like drawing or coloring or different like collaging, or I've even done like clay or sculpture in therapy. Those can be different ways to incorporate like non-talk therapy or non-verbal ways to sort of understand your subconscious or other things or what's going on. Again, I like to do that as a client in therapy, and I also like to do that as a therapist with folks I work with that maybe have a lot of anxiety or overthinking. And I think tarot is a great way to utilize that because it is like symbolic imagery, it's archetypes. I recently, with a client, we went through some of the sort of like clinical or tarot activities where I have a whole like workbook on those. So again, if you listen to the last episode, I talked about I went to a therapist who tarot retreat. So while there, we learned like clinically and ethically how to use tarot in therapy sessions, and we got this like workbook created by Drea Bloom as a way to have like different activities. So I think the one that I did with a client last week was or I guess other ones we've done are like pick what card in the tarot symbolizes like the protector energy, or like what things do you see as your strengths or weaknesses? What are ways that you might like visualize your ideal self? Right? Any cards that stick out as like that you're struggling with right now, like any of those things can be different prompts. Yeah, what else? So, I mean, again, if you are outside of Washington State maybe, or you already have a therapist and you're not necessarily interested in doing tarot in therapy, but you want to deep dive into tarot, you can join my Tarot for Transformation, where we're going to be doing like weekly classes this fall for like back to school energy for 12 weeks, where we'll do one major arcana card a week and talk about like transforming our lives through the tarot, doing journaling, embodying archetypes, maybe dressing up or different things like that about how to embody different tarot archetypes. So right, bringing tarot into other aspects of your life. Maybe you pull a tarot card daily, or you occasionally do spreads on a full moon or something, or at the beginning of the year, but you're wanting to use tarot more and incorporate it in everyday life, like this might be a way to do it. Again, you could bring your own tarot cards into therapy sessions. You could either write virtually, or if you were in person, you could bring them. And then maybe even if your therapist isn't well versed in tarot, like you could tell them like, hey, this is something I like to do. Is there any way that you think we can kind of use these in sessions? And if you want to kind of do some things on your own, again, maybe you're interested in kind of like using tarot for self-growth or learning about yourself, you can, there's a book, Tarot for Change, Using the Cards for Self-Care, Acceptance and Growth by Jessica Dorr. I've referenced it before on some earlier episodes, but I really like that. There are also Drea Bloom, who's the one that runs the Therapist Who Tarot Retreat with Rebecca Bloom. Drea has a ton of books. So there are clinical ones, yes, but there's also tarot shadow work journals, journaling in the tarot. Like I said, there's a Tarot for Transformation book that I'm going to be working out of for our classes this fall. There's tarot journaling, journaling through the tarot, doodling the tarot. What else? I'm just looking on their website right now. So I'll link to their website, but yeah, they have a lot of different workbooks and different things. You can go, there's Tarot for Transformation for every suit. And then they also have the more like therapy, clinical side of things. Yeah, so that is sort of like some different options for you. All right, let's go ahead and pull a card to see, what do the cards have to say to us today? What messages do they have? And I'm going to pull from the deck created by Drea Bloom and Rebecca Bloom, who are the folks that ran my Therapist Who Tarot retreat that I went to last year, where I really sort of got emboldened to work with the tarot, and I have cards flying out already. Okay, well, two different cards came out. Oh, interesting. The Ace of Spirals and the Three of Spirals. And spirals are an alternative for pentacles. And so we have the Ace of Spirals about manifestation, and we have the Three of Spirals about perfection. And this deck does not have a tarot guidebook with it, but they do have reflection questions on the back. That is Drea Bloom's contribution to the deck. Rebecca did the watercolor paintings of the imagery, and Drea did the prompts. So on the Ace of Spirals, the manifestation energy, it says, what have you been putting off? What change or changes are you resisting? And how do you feel about aging? Very interesting. Okay. And then we also have the Three of Spirals about perfection that says, what rule is it time to break? What rule should you be following more? And how might you best make peace with what is unfair in your life? That last one, sorry, I kind of skipped over it, but how might you best make peace with what is unfair in your life? All right, so those are our messages for today. I guess we are getting grounded into pentacles or spiral energy, right? We have some new things coming forth. If we think about like the Ace and the Threes being the earlier on cards and a suit earlier on in the journey. So we're learning, right? Right now with the eclipse season we're in, as I'm recording this, there's about to be a full moon, a lunar eclipse on Sunday, September 7th, which will for you have happened. And yeah, just a lot's going on. Big transition time for, I feel like, everyone I'm talking to, including myself. I just moved this week. So this is the first time I'm recording episodes in my new office studio. So yeah, hopefully the sound quality is good. It's a little echoey, so I might be getting a rug or something, or some more materials to add to my office. But yeah, all right. Well, thanks for joining me today. Like I said, if you'd like to join me on the journey of using the Tarot for Transformation, click on the link in the show notes to get more information. We'll be working together for 12 weeks of calls and journaling to discover what happens when we want to transform our lives through the tarot. Links for the tarot decks I talk about, which today was the Therapist Who Tarot deck, will always be in the show notes and on my website if you'd like to look at them or purchase them. And thanks for joining me today on Everyday Everyday Tarot. Just as a reminder, the podcast comes out daily, Monday through Friday for all of 2025. All right, you can email me, me@CamilleASaunders.com with your thoughts, questions, and more. I want to hear about if you guys have used tarot in therapy sessions before, either if you're a therapist or a client or you want to use it and maybe you want some advice or feedback. I would love to hear from you. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.